sequence start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, hello there. Welcome, my fellow travelers on the road of enlightenment, to another installment of Canned Conversation. My name is Andrew. With me, as always, my good friend Steven.
What's going on, man?
Well, it's opening day of baseball around the country.
Yeah.
We're knocking on the door of April.
Yep.
And Easter is just right around the corner. Of those three things, what are you most excited for?
I can tell you in order.
Nice.
In order, it is the turning of the weather.
So April?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go April, and then I think Easter, and then baseball. And that's saying a lot because I'm not really excited that much about Easter. So I'm sorry.
Easter's fantastic.
Easter's great.
yeah,
Yes. He's risen again. It's great.
Yes.
I'm with you there. I baseball's third.
Sure.
You know how I am about baseball. So
Right. We root for the home team.
Absolutely.
I'm going to root for the Cardinals this year. So
perfect.
I'm repping them.
Yeah,
For if you're watching on the
great.
studio cams.
I'm rooting for $8 beers.
Ooh.
mean-
So I got this to show off and rep for this episode being opening day.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay.
We'll give that an applause for all of the lovers of baseball.
Good on you.
Yep. We'll see you again in October when we start really getting back into wanting to watch and
Yeah. When I care again.
Rooting.
Yeah. When I care is at the end of September.
every once in a while it turned into the home run derby. So it's probably in July.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right. Well, let's get to it. As is the reason for all of our fame and notoriety, one of us brings a new, unique, or rare canned beverage to try. And while we pop the top and drink it for drop, we will do our very best to entertain you with our most humorous take on life and the world around us. Today, we're going to be discussing regret, or regrets if you are hammered drunk.
It's the worst kind of grets. Is the regrets.
Later in the show, we'll
Been saying
review
that.
and rate the canned beverage we're drinking and let you know if you should try it while planning your April Fool's prank.
Perfect.
Yes.
This whole thing could be an April Fool's prank for all I know.
It could be. I thought about things that we might do as a show to try to
Prank ourselves,
prank
each other,
the
listeners?
audience.
Oh, good.
But so you never know. Maybe maybe we'll do something fun.
Or maybe we won't.
Right.
Pranks on you. Boom. Just kidding.
The lack of prank is our prank. All right. So let's get ready for the can because we both need this, and I
Yeah.
think you do too.
They obviously do.
You're getting on that plane with Victor where you belong.
Richard, no one.
Now, you've got to listen to me. You have any idea what you'd have to look forward to if you stayed here? 9 chances out of 10, we'd both wind up at a concentration camp. Isn't that true, Louis?
I'm afraid Major Strasser would insist.
You're saying this only to make me go.
I'm saying it because it's true. Inside of us, we both know you belong with Victor. You're part of his work, the thing that keeps him going. If that plane leaves the ground and you're not with him, you'll regret it. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon and for the rest of your life.
But what about us?
We'll always have Paris.
We'll always have Paris. All right, this is a toughie for you, I think.
Oh yeah, it's horribly tough. So I didn't recognize any of that until the very end.
Right, and that's the main.
That was why you chose it. Is
Right.
that last piece?
Right. If you don't get on that plane, you're going to regret it.
Yeah.
Maybe not
And
today.
then maybe not tomorrow. Yeah. So it's got to be an old movie that I haven't seen, and there's a lot of them, and I'm uncultured, and I
Do
feel
you
bad.
recognize the voice at all?
It's old people in a black and white
I
movie,
said
so it's
Humphrey
like
Bogart?
Yeah, it's probably like a Casablanca, or is it Casablanca?
There you
Nailed
go.
it. Nailed it.
All right.
So, yeah.
Nice job.
That makes-
Audience loves that you got
Yeah,
that.
they do. Good on you, audience, for recognizing my talents.
All right. So
what do we got?
Casablanca it was. So I brought something that we're probably going to regret.
Yeah.
So in keeping with the theme, man, I saw this and I'm like, this is happening. It's called Pirate Water.
Yeah, it is.
There is so much fun about this going on that
10% alcohol.
I think that the people from Barstool Sports are somehow involved in this because their bar stool is on top of this skeleton's head in his hat thing. But it's called Pirate Water. And
Viva La Stool.
Up at the top, around the top of the can, it says Miami Vice.
Great.
So
What's
which
that
I
mean?
think is the type of drink. I probably should have looked that up. There was only one other kind where I was getting this, and it was called Sex on the Beach. So, which makes
I gotcha.
sense.
Yep.
So I think this is a Miami Vice, which
Is a mixed cocktail of some sort.
mixed cocktail, and I'm like, this has to be. I'm getting the Miami Vice because Tubbs, Crockett, 80s, in the Ferrari.
Yeah, why would you not?
Yeah,
it's a no-brainer.
10% alcohol by volume.
Yep.
It is 1 pint. Here's the best part, and it's Viva La Stool. So again, I think this has to do. I think the folks at Barstool are probably
joint
involved.
venture?
Here's my favorite part. Look on the side of the can.
Yep, I'm looking.
It has. I've never seen this on a can of alcohol before. I've seen it on food products. It says serving size.
Oh no,
5 Florida
ounces?
ounces.
Oh, this is way more than 5 ounces.
Servings per container, 3.25.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
So alcohol per serving. Oh. Which it doesn't make sense because it's all percentage. So it says alcohol per serving 0.5
Florida ounces. I don't. That is. Yeah, that little white box. I mean, if you're watching this on YouTube, check it out. There's this little white box that has it's like a meal. It's like food,
it's
right?
like
It's
food,
food
yeah.
instead of beverage.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
Oh man.
So
473 freaking milliliters.
here we go.
All right, so we're Miami Vice and regrets.
Yeah.
This screams regret. I mean, like
Pirate water.
screams. That's 3.5. Oh, 3.5 servings during one podcast.
Yes, let's get to it.
Beautiful. I'm gonna Uber home.
All right. Cool. So again, talking about regret, we're constantly bombarded basically with message. I feel like nowadays we're bombarded with messages about like seize the day, right? Don't let any time go by wasted. Live life to the fullest and absolutely do everything you want to do.
Right.
Like it's just, I don't know. And, we've talked about before, like sometimes social media might sort of prop that up, whatever you think might be sort of the basis for it. This stuff, that sort of attitude probably wasn't happening in the 50s, right? Maybe a little bit more in the 60s with the free love and the little bit more preponderance for doing drugs. But, like, especially nowadays, it seems like you need to be doing everything you can. It's either empowering, to get behind that message, or it's got to be emotionally draining, right? Because if you don't feel
overwhelming.
if you don't feel like you're living up to that
Every single minute of every day.
you could have some regrets. So I think, I want to kind of talk a little bit about regret on a couple levels. Cool. That with, that sort of that, do we have regret because we put undue burden on ourselves sometimes? Two, I want to take a look at two situations and ask if you think that there may be regret later.
Okay.
One's going to be a throwback to a previous episode that we did with a new update. So I'm kind of curious to get your take on that.
And then the car?
No car.
Damn it. Okay.
It's a Mickey Mouse.
Oh, it's a Mickey Mouse.
And then thirdly, after we rate the beer, or at some point we're going to rate that beer, like I mentioned in the intro. And then one of the things we're going to do is kind of go through a questionnaire of, do you wish you would have, sort of the basis for regret. So there's like 12 main things that people tend to regret.
Okay.
Do we have those?
Okay.
Do we have regret?
Right. So
I'm regretting this topic right now. I'm just kidding.
The average person regrets these 12 things.
Yes,
Are we
these are the
average or are we
main-
so far above average we don't have any of those regrets?
Right.
Which is probably what's going to happen.
Or more of them.
Or we have
they
15,
weren't even named.
15 to 20 extra. All
Like
right.
Pirate Water probably wasn't on the top 12.
Nor will it be. I'm not trying to foreshadow what's going on here, but pirate water is not going to be on my regret list.
Excellent.
All right.
All right. So I guess, yeah, let's just talk about, is it, YOLO versus regret? What are your thoughts? I just want to get your take up front.
So I think the fact that I have a poor memory helps me in not regretting as much. And I always hear this saying that you regret the things you don't do, not the things you do. I don't regret a lot. I think whatever you did brought you to where you are. If you're a pretty happy person, I'm a fairly happy person. I don't regret a lot. I mean, I'd made a lot of mistakes. Like I did some stupid crap. Don't get me wrong, but I don't regret a lot. So I'm going to go with, you get so many circles around the sun. It's a little bit YOLO-ish. So, you do what you can in the moment and with what opportunities are available to you at the time. You make the best out of that. That's the decisions you made at the time. Looking back on them and going, that wasn't the right thing, doesn't buy you much. So I don't regret a lot.
Excellent.
Where are you? Are you same?
So I agree, but I think there are two sort of visions of what regret look like.
Okay.
To my point earlier of YOLO versus regret, I think in this day and age, people will have regret if they don't go all out, or if they feel like they're falling short of what they see other people doing.
You're comparing. That's envy, not regret, though, in my head sometimes.
And they're like, I wish I was a this. I wish I would have gone to this. Right. And in their mind, I think they think, oh, I regret not having, taken that part in that adventure, although depending on how extreme it is. Right. I think you and I have a different vision, and it might be generational. I think our vision of regret is, do our mistakes, are they to a certain level that we wish we wouldn't have made those mistakes at the cost of not learning from them? Meaning, and stay with me, hopefully I'm not getting too deep here.
You're super existential.
But my point is,
okay,
and I think you and I are in the same, I think we're saying a lot of the same things.
Okay.
I don't have much regret.
No.
Right? Why? Just like you, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, but I feel like I've learned from each and every one of them. Had I not made the mistake, I wouldn't have learned from it, right? So there's a couple things. There's one I can remember vividly. I'm at Black River, and I'm like, today's Shot Tuesday, and I took probably 14 too many shots past what I should have.
Yeah.
And my behavior that night was
reflected poor decisions.
Right. And it was not fun for those around me, right? Because I was the one that took 14 too many shots and wouldn't pass out, right? So, I'm walking, I'm the one that people, are having to sort of babysit because I'm in.
Right. I'm
deep in.
You're past blackout mode.
I'm in blackout mode.
Yeah, you're in bad shape.
And I just remember frames of existence during that night. But had I not done that, then I probably would have maybe done it the next year, right? Like I knew
at some
the
point
next
you're going to
year,
get to that point, and you need to learn that lesson.
I need to learn that lesson.
That's your lesson to learn.
Exactly.
So we brought it up. God, seriously, it was 3 days ago. Somebody, my wife goes, we had a question. We were playing a game, and there was a question of what's your most memorable thing that you'll never live down. And my wife brings up, she goes, one time your dad, it was in front of my youngest and all of her friends, right? A couple of her friends. And she's like, one time your dad was playing beer pong, and in the middle of a game's like, hold on, I'm wasted drunk, goes around the house, throws up, and comes back and goes, okay, let's go.
Game on.
And then kept playing and kept drinking. And she's like, people will never forget that he puked and rallied and like acted like nothing happened.
Right.
She goes, if I puke, I'm done. Like it's night time.
Right.
Like you've had, that was back when we were young. Like I can't,
I recall that evening.
It's puke. Right. And so she's like, Laura and Drew still talk about that every once in a while. Right. And just puke and rally night where you're like, I was 33 years old or whatever I was. I'm like,
right.
It's time to go throw up, but now it's time to play some beer pong. Now I'm serious because now I'm almost half sober again. I'm like, I was all, so she's like, those things come up. I don't regret that.
Right.
It may not have been great decisions, but it's fun memories. Like they're fun stories. Bad decisions sometimes just become good stories.
And that is true, right? And I agree with that 100%. But you never know which bad decisions. And I would hate to say don't go out there trying to do a bunch of bad decision making, hoping they become good stories. Although I think there's a percentage of the population that
tries that.
And they're like, all right, let's go extreme. Let's try to make bad decisions. Let's film it and see what happens and live life to its fullest.
Yep.
Although to me, to each his own, I guess. So I hope that makes more sense now. Like I said, like I don't have regret because I don't want to not have learned my lesson from the mistakes that I made.
Yep.
For the most part. Now, keep in mind, I got to caveat this because one of the things I thought, I'm like, what are the greatest regrets of history? Like people, like what are some, and there's some good ones on there. I must say, if I was in charge of something that killed a lot of people,
it'd be bad.
Then I would probably have
you're living
pretty
with some
large
bad
regret,
crap.
right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like the person at Chernobyl that, had the faulty equipment
the
and
boss
could
that
have
believed no one. That everybody's
Right.
like, hey, this is bad. And they're like, yeah, it's fine.
and didn't shut it down.
Yeah. Yep.
Like that.
That guy caused lots
right.
of badness.
Bad deal.
Bad decision that caused a lot of
The
badness.
captain at Titanic, no, he's not alive. And yes, he went down with the ship, but had he made a couple different decisions,
Right.
those are those major things that cost a lot of lives. If I was in charge of that, which thankfully I haven't been.
Yeah, I don't believe I've cost lives, or I probably
Right.
would have a lot of regret.
Yes. Right. Agreed.
I will say the things that if I had to think of things that I do regret, there are very few. I mean, it's a very short list. And on that list is when I've treated somebody knowingly not well, and I'm not that person. And to go, I can't fix that now. Like, so there's the regret that goes, I treated that person bad. And my wife hates it when I think about this, but it's an ex-girlfriend. I don't have any feelings for her.
Right.
It's just, I know I did something. I know I treated her poorly, and not abusively poorly. Just, I didn't treat her like a good human being should treat each other, right? Like, it just, I went off to college and did whatever I wanted to. And like, that was a bad thing. And I go, I've always regret that. That's probably one of my only 5 regrets is going, I treated somebody like a poor human being. That's just crap.
So in my mind, and I probably should have thrown this out to begin with too, is part of what I think of regret is if I had to do it over, I would do it differently, which is why I say, I like to learn from my mistakes. So that's why I don't say I would do things differently, because the mistakes I've made have made me the person I am today. But the regret you have for, like, say, that person you're speaking of, would you have done it differently?
Oh, yeah. And that's probably why. That's probably the difference between regret and good stories later, right? Is those are the things you go, I should have made a different decision there that would have impacted someone else differently. It wouldn't have impacted me at all. Like, whether, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Is like, I could have made a better decision that my life wouldn't have been impacted and theirs wouldn't have either, as the way it was.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So that kind of thing where you're like, I could have done the same. I could have had the same life today.
There would have been a net zero,
and that person wouldn't have felt like complete crap.
Right.
So
okay,
that kind of thing.
Man, I give that to you. That
makes sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, cool.
For sure.
Whew. And I think I'm glad I got that off my chest. So there we go.
Good.
So yeah.
So we might come back because, like I said, later we're going to have some of these
Did I
things.
skip ahead?
No.
Okay.
What I'm saying is, let's take a moment, an emotional break, if you will, from our own potential regrets.
Yeah.
And
the worst kind of regrets.
Let's talk about what might be other people's regrets. So I'll let you decide.
Okay.
I love choose your own adventure.
I do
So I
too.
have 2 scenarios that I want to kind of get your feedback on and allow the customers, the listeners,
We should do a customer satisfaction rating.
our customers who are listening, to also get to have that brain candy to chew on. So there are 2. One involves Mickey Mouse and one involves worst wedding vows ever.
Oh no, I can't. Oh, okay, keep going.
So which would you like to go first?
I just saw the worst wedding vows ever on Instagram today.
Oh, you're going to hear it again then, because I'm sure it's the same one. I only told you I didn't give it to you.
Oh yeah. Then,
But-
maybe I have seen this.
I'm sure this
It
is
can't be worse than what I saw.
no.
Okay.
So we're gonna do probably. You want to do that first?
Yeah,
then?
I do absolutely
Okay.
want to do that.
So I do want to preface this. It will be. I mean, it has to be right. But I do want to preface this. We are a family-friendly show. Okay. So, but everyone, there's no bad words in this. But I'm going to play the audio from this man's vows to his wife,
It's the
soon to be
same thing.
wife.
It
Yes,
has to be.
There is very suggestive language and themes in this. So if you wish to skip it, as soon as you start hearing it, when he says you're screwed, skip ahead about a minute or so, and then you'll get our thoughts on it. So you ready to hear it?
Yep, I know it's this is it.
He lets her know right up front what's
is
kind of
horrible.
coming.
You're screwed. Only two things are required to keep me happy: keep my belly full and my balls empty. Though you're amazing at half of it, we really need to get you some cooking lessons. Even when my belly isn't full, there is no one I could ever love more in this lifetime, unless I actually get a chance to meet Margot Robbie. Since the beginning, I was always told, life gets even better when the kids fall asleep and you tell me to come to the bedroom. Nothing's better than the sound of gagging and headboard slamming.
Michael.
P.S. Since you're so good at making decisions like marrying me, you can choose whether tonight's going to end with being a toaster strudel or a Twinkie.
Letting it play for the officiant's
Alrighty.
response.
Being that I am his mom, I will deal with him later. He is grounded. By all means.
Mom's not happy. So,
That's so good.
so you caught it today. You happened to catch it.
I did. I happened to catch it today.
Yeah, it proverbially went viral, I guess, I'm sure. The
'Cause
videographer.
He's a moron. I mean,
So-
like, who does that?
So my question, because as soon as I saw this, immediately, I'm like, number one, is this for real?
Oh, it's 100%.
And
real.
it was after a little due diligence, and
Yeah, it's gotta be 100%
there's
real.
There's actually a couple articles and a response already from the
Wedding couple?
the wife, the bride to be in that situation. So my question to you is, do you think he's going to regret that?
No, because he got famous off of it, for one. But two, he should. As a decent human being, that's not what marriage, like, it makes you cringe. You're like, oh, God. Yeah, so yes, he should regret that. I'm going to go with yes.
Even if he got famous, he's going to get 15 minutes of that.
Yep.
But he has a videographer, right? It's not like somebody was taking this with their phone.
Oh, no, that was approved to go out.
Right. So this was put on to a thing that his kids,
Yep.
his grandkids
Yep.
might watch.
It's just, it's so disrespectful to his wife. I when I saw it, I'm like, dude, you are not going to be married long, or you shouldn't be married long. This is his lesson to learn, and maybe he'll look back and go, I don't regret that because I learned a great lesson that I was super disrespectful and stupid. Maybe that's his lesson. And he was like, I don't regret it. Cool, as long as you learned your lesson. But
So let me throw this out to you, because what's interesting, and I'm not necessarily play devil's advocate here, but just throw some food for thought. So the bride who was in that has come out and said, I have no regret of what he
regrets.
did.
Yep.
That's him. That's his personality.
Cool.
They've been together for like 10 years, and
Awesome.
they're like, nothing's going to change after this. So I ask you, does that make a difference?
It doesn't to me.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay. Okay, good. I'm like, I don't care.
Because we have good senses of humor, right?
I do. There's a time to be like, there's a time to be inappropriately funny, and I love inappropriate
Right.
funny. And if he
Right.
said, this is what I thought I was like, if later that night when just him hanging around with friends goes, this is what I almost wrote as
Right.
I've been like, that's funny crap. Like, that's good stuff. Not funny at an official, like if you're going to really do wedding stuff, you're standing in front of like people that you care about. It's not time to be a doofus. It's not time to be a douche. I'll just be honest. It's time to be serious for a hot minute. You can be funny and awesome and a cool dude, and that's just who you are, and super authentic for one damn minute. Be serious. You know what I mean? I'm just like,
well, and
come on.
they're called vows.
Yes.
Right? Like
That's not a vow.
It's a vow for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? Your stand-up comedy routine
Not a place.
is there is a time and a place for it, like you said.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my own wife about this because I was like, what would you think? And she said the exact same thing that you did just now. And I also agreed. I was like, hey, you're at a bachelor party. Funny thing to talk through and go, here would be the vows. Here are my rough draft vows.
Yeah. I'm going to revise these, but this is what I came up with at first.
Outside the reception, towards the end, and you've had a lot, you're like, hey guys, this is a a second edition of Vows, the alternate ending, the deleted scenes.
Right. Yeah, this is director's cut, but not okay.
But yeah, your stand-up comedy routine, you're doing for you in that situation, no one else.
Yeah.
Vows are a vow, number one. And number two, weddings are not for you and you alone.
Yeah.
People kind of think of it that way, right? Like, this is my wedding. It's I get to do whatever I want. It's all about me. Well, you got 100 people. Who knows? I don't know how many people were there, but there was enough
that are all related to you. Here.
You heard all the gasps.
Right. And the one person goes, David, or whatever that guy's name. Like, somebody was like, I am so freaking appalled. Michael.
That was his mom, who was officiating.
Well, then, yeah.
So let me ask you this also. So, because the other thing, as I listen to that, and then, because on most of those things, it starts going again.
Yeah. And
I'm like, oh, on the second one, I just pictured what I would do if I was father of the bride.
Oh, yeah.
What would you have done?
Clothesline. Like, it's WWF time. It's like, dude, you need to go to the hospital.
You were just a torpedo.
I would be so freaking angry. Like, do not disrespect my daughter ever like that. Not in public, not in private, but certainly not at the wedding.
Yeah.
I would be appalled. I would be furious.
Yeah.
Be like,
I'm not prone to violence
unless
it can stop other violence.
Yeah.
But
I'd be done.
It would have certainly stopped.
Oh,
yeah. The wedding would have halted.
Yeah.
And I would have pulled my daughter away to go, I think we need to stop this.
Yeah. And I don't
I'm okay with that.
I don't like awkward, weird stuff
Right.
like that. But I would, the second that he said, you have 2 jobs to fill my stomach and empty I've been like, I'm out. Like, this is done. You're gonna restart, or you're not gonna do this. One of the two.
Agreed.
I'd been done.
Yeah, I don't know if her father was present. I haven't seen that in any of the little summaries or anything. But I was like,
way to get me all fired up.
Right. If it was me as dad, I'm sorry, but that wedding would have ceased.
Yeah.
And the videographer would have gotten a lot of different.
This pirate water makes me want to start stabbing people with a sword and killing them with a cannon or something.
All right. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we agree. Doesn't matter, and if it's like quote unquote your wedding and you get to do what you want and they're your vows. Totally, there's a time and a place for it. But I think he will come to. I would think regret it, because that is forever. It's on video, and I don't know. Being like to give him a pass if that's just him. Well, again, I have an 8-year-old sense of humor. I think all men do it to a certain extent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we appreciate, like you said at the beginning, we appreciate some good raunchy humor.
Yeah.
But that's the most important time of your life,
It's a time that if you're not taking it seriously now,
yeah,
you're not going to take it seriously later. Like, have a great divorce. I really literally hope that lady finds somebody who appreciates
That's
her.
a better divorce speech than it is a wedding.
100% agree.
All right.
Sorry.
No,
All right,
you're good.
Good. Can we go to something that doesn't piss me off?
Yeah.
I'm drinking pirate water. I'm about ready to.
We're in a good place.
I need to commandeer a ship.
Let's talk about pirate water.
Really? Are we already at a good place?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
I know. Time flies when you're having fun.
Agree.
All right. So,
Where you
pirate
at?
water.
Where you
Miami
at?
Vice. So according to their statistics of serving size, I am approximately 1.5 serving sizes in.
I'm at least 1.5 in. Yeah. 100%.
I finished a little over half of this.
Yep.
And I'm digging it. It's just in such a fun way. Like,
in such a fun way.
I have
You're
no
digging
idea.
it?
Yeah. I'm trying to ask my taste buds, right? Now calm down, guys. Like the fact that it's called pirate water, the fact that it's Miami Vice, the fact that it has this fun can. Like, I think the excitement level was pushing.
Yeah.
For this to be, and it is good. Is it great? I don't know, because all of the other factors are they're screaming.
Oh my God. I feel like you're pushing towards a 5.
No.
Oh my. You're not.
Well,
where are you going at? I'm
certainly going to be getting more of these if I can find them, and I'm certainly going to make them they're going to be a state like, hey, have you tried pirate water? But I don't know if I'll push it on them, and it might be tomorrow. I go, it doesn't taste as good as when you're super hyped for that first one. You've had that experience. You've
I went
changed
from a
to
5 to a 1 or 2, right?
And I don't want to be that. I don't want to have regret.
Right. That was technically that's the second regret I've got.
Nice.
That was a bad one.
So I'm going to go 4.
Because I had audience members call me out on that one. That was the worst is when I started. I'm like,
Right.
this is a 5. And they went out and got it. And they're like, this is horrible. I'm like, you're right. It's horrible.
So this is,
what do you think?
I mean, I think if you just gave me the contents and nothing else, no other information to glean, I would probably taste it and I go, yeah, that's pretty good. But this is like a party in a can, and I'm digging this party. So this party plus the contents are going to get a 4 from me. I mean, and I didn't talk about any taste other than that really, but it's got a bit of, it's a little fruity. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know what else to put in there.
Let me
It's
help
just-
you
it's
with this
kind
a little bit.
Yeah, you
I don't
fill
like,
in the blanks.
I don't like fruit punch. And there's a little bit of fruit punch in this. And it's the only thing that's keeping me from a 5.
Nice.
But you're right on all accords. It is. So, this is going to sound horrible because I think we've done something on this. But so if you remember that kind of fruity taste of Mad Dog, so this has that, but it's not like Mad Dog. If anybody's like from my generation who drank a bunch of Mad Dog when you were 18, 19, 20 years old, and you're like, you threw it up and you're like, it tastes the same going down and coming up. Talking about a regret. But this stuff is good. I think it's super, it's a little sweet to drink 10 of them, although it's 3 servings per can. So if you drank 10, you'd be drinking like, 30 servings.
Right.
That's not okay.
3.25 servings per can.
Right. You can't do that. So
Yeah,
it's
that math
10%
is
alcohol by
difficult
volume.
when you drink 10.
I actually like that it's 10% alcohol by volume. It's 3 servings, and I can get it in one can that's a pint. I actually think it's marketed perfectly.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't have done a better job, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm halfway through 3.25 servings of it, and I dig it. It's 100% a 4 for me.
Nice. Couple of 4s. Love it. And again, like I said, I'm assuming Barstool's on here. I don't watch a lot of Barstool. I'm not pro or con Barstool. I mean, I've seen some of their stuff. They just seem like they're fun-loving guys. I don't know. I think they're also somewhat divisive on things. I don't know. But so it's not like we're sponsored for them.
No, but if Pirate Water wanted to send us swag, I will not turn that down.
No.
Anything that says Miami Vice or Pirate Water or has their logo on it, I will take in a heartbeat. Like the can is dope. But the content is really, really good.
Yeah, it's refreshing. This is a total summer on the water kind of.
And you only need probably apparently you only need 2 of them because if you want 6,
3 of these on the river, and I'm talking like a pirate.
3 of these on the river, and I'm passed out like a dead pirate.
I got one eye kind of closed.
Oh yeah, I'm closing one eye after 2 of these.
Exactly.
This thing's awesome.
All right.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Pair of 4s.
Are we
Love
back
it.
on track?
Yeah. All right. So now let's switch to something. I don't know. This is divisive. This is more divisive maybe
Good.
than the vows, because I think most people probably agreed with us on the vows.
If they did, and they should, and if not, stop listening.
So back in episode 51, titled "This Is Why We Don't Talk About Politics," we talked about Florida's governor.
Oh yeah,
DeSantis. Is it DeSantis or DeSantos?
Ron DeSantos.
Okay, no, not an I. All right,
DeSantos.
I didn't write it down, but I did. It is SANTIS, isn't it? DeSantis. I don't know. However it is.
Crumpus? What's Crumpus spelled
Right.
with? I don't
We'll
know.
just call him Ron.
Ron.
His first name? Ron?
Yeah, Ron.
Okay. So Ron, so Mickey Mouse took a stand on the Don't Say Gay bill.
Yep. I remember this episode.
And then Ron said, I'm going to swing on you and
Yeah,
try to punch you in the mouth. And I'm going to try to take over the Reedy Creek.
the whole district, right?
district
Like,
that
the county.
Right. So
Yep.
Disney was hand appointing these officials of this Reedy Creek. Reedy Creek was the governing body over all of the land in Florida. And they basically controlled their own destiny with their land, but they also paid for it.
Yep.
And so they did all of the roads and all the services and said, we're our own entity. We are going to make ourselves a place people want to come. So we're going to keep it all looking shiny and bright and new. And so the governor was like, well, you don't agree with me on this, so I'm going to strip you of those rights and I'm going to take back.
Yeah. Florida
that.
now back owns that county again, right? Or
Yes.
that district or whatever that is.
So 2 days. So they approved that. That got signed by him, and it was ready to get put into place. 2 days before the governor was supposed to then take over, or the government was supposed to take over
Yep.
and replace Ready Creek's people with their own, Disney and the current occupants of the Ready Creek governing board, which was hand appointed by them, entered into a contract. And the contract basically gave all of Disney all of the rights that were previously held by the Ready Creek governing body, and said, this contract is good until 21 years after the death of the last survivor of the descendants of King Charles III, who that are currently living.
What?
So
why would this be based on King Charles at all?
I will tell you.
Thank
That's a really
God.
good question. But the first thing to note is that they entered into a legally binding contract
That says
that all of the Ready Creek people signed off on and said, here's the contract. And it says, Disney, you have all of these privileges. We no longer want them. Signed it off, legal paperwork, and said, here's when it's good to. And now the people that government came in said, they replaced all of them, said, hey, now we have our own people in there to take over. And then Disney said, we have this contract. You guys can just sit there and look pretty, but you don't have any actual power. So Disney took one gigantic swing back. What do you think about that?
that makes a lot of sense in that in a political climate where Ron DeSantis is trying to run for president, he got the publicity he wanted and then quietly let everything happen the way it needed to happen to go back to normal.
It's not quiet though. This is making it. There's just some.
I haven't heard crap about this. All I hear is Ron DeSantis has to weigh in on everything that happens to Donald Trump when he gets indicted and all this crap. Right? Like he's already made his statement. With this is I don't take crap from nobody. He got a reputation off of I don't even take crap from people in my own state like Disney. Like that's what he made. Like that's his reputation. I'm the Donald Trump that's less offensive. Based on this, I don't like he built it. I don't take crap off people.
Okay,
Based
I
on
don't
Disney
know
and
him well
things.
enough to know that. I figure he's just an establishment Republican.
Well,
who's I knew from you was probably going to run.
I just think it's
for president.
For one, it's so stupid. Good for Disney. They get to take back over their stuff. Like they've made enough money for Florida. They should be able to run their own. I mean, they're going to make money for Florida forever.
So the question for our topic really, and I agree with you. I didn't mean to cut you off because I agree with that.
No.
But do you think Ron will regret his actions that he started to take as retaliatory measure against Disney?
No, because I think it got him political capital that he needed at the time.
So
he
why didn't he just come out with a statement that says we disavow Disney not liking the don't say gay law? We're totally opposed to that. Like instead of taking these extraordinary steps to go, we're going to take over this. We're going to undo something that's been in place for so long. You don't think this was personal to him?
No.
Okay.
I think it was all political, and I think it was Ron DeSantis' easy way of saying it was Ron DeSantis' wall. Like Donald Trump's wall. I think it was Ron DeSantis' wall.
Now, I'll let you know this. Ron, they've hired 3 law firms to now go after and fight this.
Sure. So does Donald Trump. He hires 8 law firms for everything. So what? He already got the good press he wanted.
I'll tell you. So what? This is resources that could be better spent elsewhere.
Oh yes. I mean,
do the people of Florida wish that they were paying 3 law firms worth of lawyers?
No. It's
at an
never
average.
about them.
I think I saw the average of like $700 an hour.
Oh, easy
on this.
Sure. Yeah, for no reason. There's nothing. There's going to be a net zero at the end of this, other than a bunch of lawyers get super rich.
Well, I hope. I mean, this is my hope. And I don't care if he's running for president or not. I'm not in. I don't have a dog in that fight. But my fight thinking is, if I'm a citizen of that state, then you're just piddling resources away. And if you're willing to do it for just because you got mad at somebody because they didn't agree with the law that you passed, and they couldn't do anything about it. It's not like they could have overturned it or vetoed it. They just got mad at it. They just said, we don't agree. And you are now costing in time and money. You've already, because you did this law, which takes all of the process of government to make a law. Then now that Disney's like, yeah, we're not going to let that fly. You know, we've been in this game for how long? Welcome, governor. And then now he's hired him and his government, they're going to just waste all of that. I hope that comes back to them. I hope when he's running, and I don't know if it will or not. I don't get enough into politics, but I would hope someone brings that up and goes, look at what he's willing to do and spend your hard-earned money on. I hope you taxpayers that pay taxes, blue collar, middle income, whatever, like get mad at that guy, right? He's not spending your money, right?
They're not going to. Why?
They
Because
should.
people vote on sound bites that they hear on
right.
Facebook,
And fear.
and none of this will ever make Facebook. Like there'll never be a sound bite where, like, Ron DeSantis goes, "Man, I sure regret messing with Disney."
Well, he'd never say that out loud.
No,
But
and lawsuits take a long time. So people don't want long time things. They want that instant gratification where they like Ron DeSantis stood up to gay people and he's like, "Screw you, Disney." They want that. That's all he got out of it, and it was everything he needed. And no one else in Florida. It wasn't even for the people in Florida. It's for everyone else in the country, so he can run for president and go, I stood up for protecting our schools against people like crazy Disney, who's, flying the old, rainbow flag.
Right.
And there's like, screw them, Disney. He didn't care how much it costs. It's not his money. He didn't care.
right. Do you guys want to see Minnie Mouse marry Mrs. Donald Duck? No, or something, I don't know.
Mrs. Donald Duck? She's already married. What is
married.
Polygamy? Okay.
So just to let you know, this is how smart Disney is.
Yeah.
They've been through so many lawsuits. I'm sure that this is
They'll figure
ingrained
this out.
in their memory. Why would they care about King Charles III and his descendants? Because they know that if you come after them on a perpetuity type of contract, the court system does not look favorably on you just going, this contract is good in perpetuity, forever and ever and ever, amen.
Yep.
And so a lot of times courts will strike that down and go, hey, man, you got to go back to the drawing board.
We need a date here.
Right,
And they're
because
just like-
this could be 1,000 years from now. You're like, and so the way they do that is they pick somebody that everybody can watch. Like it's not
So a known figure.
hidden. They take a known figure.
And they take an ancestry or a genetics of that.
Pick a year, pick a time frame. So theirs is 21 years after the death of the last survivor of the descendants of King Charles III, who was a current living survivor. And what I read was the most current, there's a 3-year-old niece somewhere.
So an entire area of Florida depends on some random person in England somewhere's. There's a kid somewhere. They're like, there's a
Theoretically,
contract.
yes.
There's a contract written on this poor little child who has no idea that when she dies, 21 years after that, there's a decision made on this land.
Right.
That's insane.
But it
Poor
could
child.
be 100 years, right? Like that.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
she, like, I don't wish any bad luck upon her, but like she could, if she dies early, then it's a different person. It's not just tied to that one person.
Right. No,
but
it's generationally.
if the 3-year-old lasts the longest and say she doesn't even go as long as Queen Elizabeth, because she was in her 90s, right?
Right.
So say she lives to be 80, 21 years past that, 100 years.
Right.
So
It's
they're
110 years or 111
right.
years at that point, right? Or whatever. So
Yeah. So 100
That's
years,
crazy.
possibly, and then we'll figure if we got another governor.
Ron DeSantis is dead by then.
Long dead.
All good.
His
Well,
descendant is
hopefully somebody rational will be in charge and we'll deal with them. Whoever that is. Yeah, cool.
So you're saying Ron's not going to regurt that,
He doesn't. No, he won't regret.
but should, in my opinion.
Yes.
All right.
I don't think he'll ever regret it. Ever.
Those people also don't have souls.
They
to a
don't.
certain extent, so they don't know the
No.
meaning of regret.
No.
It's all a way how to spin it, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I want, say whatever I want,
Yep.
and just spin it the right way because it's all about perception in the moment.
Is it net positive votes for me?
Right.
That's all I care about.
That's so
if it's
sad.
net positive votes, I don't care. Like I think literally they think that way.
That's why I hate politics.
I do not care as long as I'm netting an ad.
That's why I can't
dumb.
deal with it. The whole reason I got into this whole story for episode 51 and for this one is because Disney was involved. And
I know.
I'm like,
I got no dog in this fight. I hate both of them.
Well, I have it in the whole fight. I'm rooting for Disney.
Oh yeah. Oh, if I have to pick a dog, it's
Yeah.
Disney 100% of the time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like, you go. I mean,
they produce good movies.
and I love their theme parks. Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure they've done some bad stuff in the past, like
Sure,
all
like
giant
every corporation does.
But
That's corporate America.
yeah. All right. Well, moving on. Let's keep this train, or this, not this train,
This boat, this ship.
this ship full of pirate water on course here. So I have 12. Count them.
12.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Why didn't you do it like the?
I did.
No.
Yeah, this is brought to you by the
number 4.
12.
Okay.
Is that
The letter A?
Is that part of Sesame Street?
Yeah,
or
it's Sesame Street.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna do like keep going. Never mind.
All right. So there are 12 things. When I looked up, I'm like, all right, what do people regret?
Okay.
And so, I found a couple of really good articles that were like, and it basically boiled down to 12 here. And I thought, well, should I have you guess?
Yes.
You could, sure, yeah, let's do that. So,
I'm gonna
out of
regret
12,
that.
out of 12. So, what do you think out of the 12 are things that people would regret?
The second that I said yes, I should guess it, I realized that I shouldn't have guessed it.
All right.
So out of the 12, what do I think people regret?
What are the top regrets that people have?
Marriage.
That is not really on here.
Damn it, that was a
specific.
risk. I just hashtag courage that one. Sorry.
Yeah, these are a little bit more
What specific?
existential. Not so much. No, not
All right,
as
so hold on.
specific.
I think I can do this.
I can give you an example if you want.
No. Okay. Yes.
Number 12 is, I wish I would have lived more in the moment.
That's dumb.
Make a difference today. Make it
How would I
worth
have guessed that?
remembering. Well, that's what I'm just saying.
Yeah, I
If-
can't guess
Put
these.
I wish in front of, because all these start with I wish.
Okay.
I wish I would have.
Been healthier? Has to be on there.
That's probably a good one.
It's seriously not on there.
Well, there are some things that contribute to that.
I wish I wouldn't have been a smoker. How specific are these?
That's a good one too. Oh, well, like I wish I would have worked less.
I've guessed 3 times and been wrong.
Specifics, right? Let me just start.
Yeah, let's start at the top and you work your
Let's
way.
say you got 0 right.
I did.
And
Damn.
well, then we'll go from here. So I wish I would have spent more time with the people I love. Is the number 1 regret. That is a true statement. I'm telling you that is a fact.
Okay.
The old adage of time slips away or time moves quickly. You look back and go,
Hindsight.
Yeah.
This is a hindsight issue,
do
right?
you believe that you have that? And so the question to us is, do we share this regret?
Oh,
I wish I would have spent more time with the people I love.
So the answer is yes. Specifically, if you've ever lost close loved ones, you always think back and you're like, I would give a year of my life to have 5 more minutes with somebody else, right? Like,
Yeah, but
that
you
kind of
didn't
thing.
cause them to die.
I agree. I didn't cause it. I just regret that I didn't
Okay.
make them make more of the time that I had.
Okay.
So you're like, what you would give now in trade for what you could have freely taken then should cause a regret. I can get why that causes a regret of some sort.
Yeah, well, I can see why it would cause regret. Personally, I do try to spend time with the people that I love, and reach out and communicate. But you
don't have this regret?
No.
Okay.
There's only so many hours. Like,
no.
If time were infinite and we didn't die, right? Like it's sort of a
okay,
right? Like then you wouldn't have to ever worry about that, right?
Yeah.
And I understand. I wish I could spend more time with everybody.
Yeah.
Right. That's my wish. But my understanding of time and the limitation of what I can do in it, I have to work. So that's going to take some time. I have to sleep. I wish I didn't have to do some of the things that I have to do. So realistically speaking, I want to spend more time with the people I love, but I don't think that I'm short. Like, I don't think I'm putting other things, prioritizing them higher, that I would go, man, I really need to stop playing video games.
Right.
Right. I don't do that. That's my point. Yeah, I would love to spend more time with people I love. There's just not. There's only so much time to go around.
Yes, and sometimes time with the people you love is not always quality time. It's not always intentional time.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I think a couple things. One is I think hindsight is one of the things that makes you regret things. You're like, oh, I wish I would have done that. Like that's the I wish I would have. Right? Is I can see clearly now that
the rain is gone.
Yeah. Of course it is. But yeah, you can see that you spent a weekend at home doing nothing, when you probably could have gone and visited your parents. Or would that have been time well spent? Would you have gone and done something memorable? Or would it just been time?
We're in the same room.
Right.
And I agree complete with that. I will add to that. And again, I'm not trying to say I'm better than anybody else by all means, but one of the things I try to do is when I'm spending time with someone outside of my home, I put my phone away.
Be intentional about it.
I do not. Yeah. I do not look at my phone unless something comes up where I am called to task on something I have said and I need to fact check it. Then I will go, let's look at this together.
Which is every minute.
Let's look at this together and let's see if I'm right or wrong. And then the phone goes right back into my pocket.
That's awesome.
I don't text people. I don't.
Okay.
If I'm out to dinner with you, my phone is in my pocket. I love the whole, I've heard people go, put your phones on the table on top of each other and, don't touch it. I wish that for everybody. Make the time that you spend with the loved ones, and like you said, intentional. Don't let the noise.
I think it's almost regardless of what you've done in the past, when you lose somebody, you go, how could I have spent that time more valuably?
Focus on them.
Did I get value out of it? Sure. Do I regret thinking that I could have gotten more value? Yes, always. Like I don't know, it's just something about the human condition. It's like,
it is.
when something's gone, you go, oh crap, I missed that more.
Right.
I wish I would have done something different.
I wish I had worried less is number 2. Worry. I wish I had worried less.
Yeah, worry is wasted time. Worry is about things that are possibly going to happen. You can't fix that. You can only deal with what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Worry
is just your imagination creating things that could potentially happen.
Yeah, it's nonsense. And I think a lot of people spend time. I don't plan well, which means everything is in the moment because I haven't planned anything to happen. So I don't worry. I don't think I worry a lot. I worry some. Everybody worries some. But I think there's a lot of people who waste.
I think we worry about our kids.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Yeah. I mean, the time I spend worrying is usually not about myself so much because I think we think we have good handle on ourselves.
Oh yeah, I'm a complete control all the time.
And usually we don't worry about other people who are outside of our immediate circle of family because they should be able to worry about themselves. But our kids, that's where
self-doubt, right? Like you worry about whether or not you can handle something. I do have that worry, but
I wish I would have forgiven more is number 3. Just saying, I'm sorry, or taking ownership of something that you did wrong, or instead of maybe putting up a wall.
I don't have that one. I feel like, in all honesty, I feel like I have the ability to apologize and go, I was dumb, or at least I was perceived as dumb. I can apologize for that. It's okay. How about you? Do you feel like you ever?
I feel like I forgive pretty well. There are certain things that are wounds that take a little time. Yeah. And there are some current things that I probably haven't forgiven. And
do you think guys forgive easier than girls or no? I feel like girls hold on to things.
I think that's a, what do you call those things? Or that's a perceived thing. I don't know. Yeah. Do we have short attention spans though? I mean, that might be the thing is we're like, what happened?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Great. I moved on.
Shiny thing over there.
Yeah. Great. Awesome. Yeah. And they're like, no. Shiny thing right here.
I try to think about that here and there because there are a few things that linger. I don't hold on to things, but there's 1 or 2 that are sort of fresh that I'm like, is that going to be for something I can move past? I wish I had stood up for myself.
Okay.
Never allow yourself to be bullied or silenced. You feel like you ever were bullied and you didn't stand up for yourself?
I don't. So, no, I don't have that one.
Okay.
Do you? Wait, why
no.
you can't just move on?
Yeah, no,
Okay, sorry,
not really.
Okay.
I think
move
everybody's
on.
bullied as a kid. To a certain extent, I mean, and that's a topic.
There's always
That's a whole
somebody-
topic we
right.
could talk about of like
Hierarchically,
current
yeah.
bullying versus
What we
old
had.
school bullying.
Yeah.
and I think it's just a generational divide. That it's like a "you're old, get off my lawn" kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
people will always go, "You're not bullied. I was bullied when
Right.
someone
When people
yanked my
used to-
underwear over the top of my head." Just
Right.
calling me the wrong pronoun isn't bullying, like. But that's just a generational divide, and I don't want to get in that debate necessarily because bullying to everyone is their own, kind of perception. And I feel like whatever bullying I took as a kid just made me who I am today. I know who the bullies are. I can spot it,
Right.
and I
You're
steer away.
Yeah. It made you more aware of what your surroundings, right? Of
Yes.
being able to go, oh, that behavior doesn't look safe to me. This behavior over here looks safe.
Yeah.
And you're a better judge.
Yeah. I wish I would have been more honest. So, if you're this side, and I'll start first if you want on this one. You've been
Sure,
starting.
please.
When I was younger, I think real young. I don't know why. For whatever reason, I used to make up tall tales. Maybe it was because my situation. I was, it was just me and my mom, and I was dirt poor, and I was with a lot of people that had more than me. So I was always kind of like, "Oh yeah, I've done that. What you did."
Right. Whatever it is.
Yeah, and
just to fit in.
right? Because I didn't want people to go, "Look at this little goofball who's out of the norm."
Self-esteem
And it's
crap.
right. And I want to say, pretty young, I got tapped a couple times. I found out that lying is like when you lose trust, it's the most horrible feeling. And so now it's become one of my kids will tell you my number one pet peeve. I go, dude, you can call me a name, you could do this other thing, but when you lie to me, that's my number one pet peeve.
My kids.
So I try to be as honest as possible to a fault sometimes.
Yeah, my kids know the same thing. It's the only thing that makes me actually angry. You can fail. You can do a lot of stuff. Do not lie to me. Do not.
Right.
I have trust in you, and I want to trust you.
Yes.
Lying to me. Oh yeah. And I don't lie to anybody. Probably to a fault. I don't lie to a fault. Like at work, I tell
Right.
my boss, I'm like, I think I screwed this up.
I
She's like,
screwed up.
I didn't even know that happened. And I'm like, well, now you do. And I did it today. Literally today, I asked for feedback from my boss's boss's boss. Literally 3 levels above me. And she's like, hey, I wish you would have taken command more. I wish we would have had more of this. And I sent it to my boss and I go, looks like I probably should have taken command more. Right? Like, I will send you honest feedback about me. I am not going to lie. I think I probably could have done better. She's right. Like, do not lie. Just be honest about it. It's so much easier to deal with truth than it is with lies.
Agreed. I wish I would have worked less.
No. Oh, maybe during periods of time in my life, possibly.
What's interesting about this one is
Man.
I don't always like to do comparatives, but when I've heard people in my sphere who I've talked to and who have mentored me said I missed key things in my kid's life because I work too much. I haven't done that.
No.
Now, but I've been lucky enough where I've worked from home a lot.
Yep.
So I can, I work diligently, but I don't have long drives home. I don't travel all the time.
Yeah.
I'm not outside of my house a lot. So like I get to interact a lot more than I think some of those old schoolers.
I think there was
Probably
parts
did.
of my career that I let work be a distraction from things that I should have been addressing in my marriage. I do not think I purposely have worked too much. And I think I've been blessed to not have
Yeah, that is a blessing.
that kind of 60, 70 hour work week every week for years and years and years and years where you just go, I can't be with my family. That sucks.
And it ebbs and flows. I mean, there are
there
there
are
are
bad
still
times.
weeks of the year that I don't see my family.
I had one the last 2 weeks. You and I just talked about this before the podcast started, right? Like you have those same weeks where you're like,
Right.
there's times where I'm going to be vacant, but it's
Right.
it's a couple weeks a year
Yeah.
when
It's-
things get crazy.
And everybody knows it's coming.
Yep.
We plan it out.
Yep, and I'm aware it's coming, which is part of planning for it. It's not every freaking week though. That's brutal.
Yeah. I wish I cared less about what other people think. Do you care what people think?
I don't anymore. I used to probably, but I don't anymore. I couldn't care less. I am who I am. Are you? I mean, are you at that same stage?
Oh yeah. we have taken, I think, the same adage of I can't control what you think.
No.
So, I mean, it doesn't matter what I do. You're going to have a way you think. So since I can't control that, there's no way I can worry about it.
I will say, if you're open-minded and you perceive me a certain way and it's not the way I want to be perceived, I will work to fix that.
Yeah.
But I couldn't give two craps if you think I'm a butthole and I'm just trying to help you. Like if that's on you, I'm literally, I have good intent. My intent is not bad.
Right.
I can't fix your perception of my intent. I'm trying to help. That's
so,
it.
What's interesting about this? So, yes, and just to clarify, I think, or to add to what you're saying,
Sure.
Is that I don't care what strangers think at all. So, my wife, unfortunately for her, will be in a public place surrounded by people, and I'm speaking, which I'm a loud person.
Right. Your voice carries.
And I'm saying things, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, could you like just bring it down a notch? Everybody's," and I'm like, "I don't," and then I get louder, of course,
Right,
because
yeah,
I'm like,
I don't care
I go,
what
I
people
don't
think."
care what everyone
Right.
cares. In fact, they should probably listen because these are nuggets of wisdom
Right.
they could be eating.
They should be writing this down.
Yes. That drives her crazy. But now the people that I know, right? If I feel like they have a bad perception of me from something that may have been taken wrongly,
Right.
then I will
I'll
try to right
fix
the
that.
ship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
You fix it.
Yeah. And you're like, hey, I think you may have taken this. Let me tell you how I meant it. Now, if you're like, just maybe once I have that conversation, you're like, yeah, no, you're a dip, right, to me. And I'm like, well, I tried. Because I tried. And you might just be that person that's way less, you care more about certain things of society than me.
Yeah.
And I go, I'm here to have fun in the little time I got.
Right. I have such ill will. A little ill will towards people. Like, I don't care. Like, if you don't want to like me, it's okay. You
Right.
don't have to. I'm okay going on without you.
Yeah. Most people, when they first meet me, they don't like me.
Right.
Because-
Nor should they. You're an acquired taste like a wine.
Exactly. That's
Like
right. I grow on you.
That's right.
Like a mushroom. Let's see. I wish I had lived up to my full potential. We talked about potential in a previous
did.
podcast. Wish I had faced my fears. Do you feel like you have any fears that you just can't face or that
I'm
hold
better
you
about
back?
eyeballs since I've vocalized the fact that I don't like eyeballs.
That's awesome.
Literally, I've gotten better at it.
Yeah, but you're not wearing contacts yet.
I'm not. And I probably won't.
You could. It's not even touching your eye. It's touching the thing
That's-
between your eye.
That's crap. We all know that's crap.
All right.
Keep going. What about you? You face your fears?
I have fears.
What
and
about
I
a
do
line in
face
Walmart?
them.
Do you face that?
Yes, I get in it. But I go to a concert with 30,000 people.
Yep.
And
That's
even
it.
though for a day up till that, my stomach will hurt a little bit and go, I hope
You're like, I
everybody's
hate it.
on their best
I'm
behavior
gonna
and
hate
there's
every
a
minute of
1,000
this.
phones in front of me.
Yep.
And I don't have drunk people tripping over me and swinging on me for no reason or
We
something.
had so much fun at concerts,
Yeah.
even when people were crazy and drunk.
Well, because once I get a beer or two in me, like
fine.
I
It's the
quell it.
anxiety coming up to
Yes.
leading to like being in
Right.
crowds of stupid people.
I fly. I'm not a huge one for flying. It's
I'm
so
not either.
weird to me because
Don't like
you're
it.
in the little can up in the sky. You're like,
Yeah.
I get the science, but this is crazy.
Yeah, but you're way up there.
Right. So I just
I
kind
also
of
get how gravity works.
exactly.
Just
And their
saying.
engines. I've been in a car that the engine didn't do well. It was
Right.
non-functional.
I've stalled out. I've stalled out a stick shift a number of times. I know
Yes.
what happens when you stall out.
But I go put my iPad in front of me, watch a movie, and just like when
Yep.
something crazy, I hear a crazy noise, I look up at the flight attendant. If they're not freaking out, I go, okay, must be
Yep.
okay.
I've been on enough turbulent flights. I was on a turbulent flight with the flight attendant, and she looked at me and goes, "This is really bad turbulence." And I go, "I think I'm supposed to be freaking out right now."
Right.
And I was losing my crap. But then I was on a turbulent flight a few months back, and somebody goes, "Oh my God, that's the worst turbulence I've ever had." I go, "Shh." I was on a flight
Right.
with a flight attendant once, and she's like, "This is really bad." And I'm like, "The whole cabin was shaking." I'm like, "This is barely anything." So I've gotten better at it. Just like, but
Yeah.
I realize I'm in a can that's shaking
Right.
at 30,000
That
feet.
relies completely on the airflow over the wings.
And I'm watching the wings just
move like crazy.
Yeah, like you're in the arch or something. Like it's bad. And you're like, those wings just going to snap off.
And if they do-
and when they do, they're attached to
Right.
the engines.
Bye-bye.
I am literally in a can that's dive bombing to the earth.
All right, I wish
Where are we
we're close. We have
God.
2 more.
All right.
Yep. And then we'll wrap it up because we're at time. I wish I would have stopped chasing the wrong things.
I always
Actually,
chase the right things that are sometimes wrong, but they teach me a good lesson. I don't ever regret chasing the wrong things.
I think that the act of chasing is always what is
it's the journey.
What's the fun?
Yeah.
Even if you do chase the wrong thing, you usually figure it out and then go, oh, you know what that means? I got to go chase this other thing.
Yeah.
We would have not known if you hadn't started it.
I would much rather be chasing something than sitting still wondering what to chase. Go chase something. Go run. And then you'll figure out where you're supposed to be running as you're running.
Yeah. I don't do well at all with not trying to learn something or do something. And I know this about myself. So I always have on my checklist of stuff, I have projects that are kind of in my hopper.
Yep.
And yeah, so it's just fun. And there are times I did it this week where I took a project off. I'm like, that's just going to cost way more than I thought it was originally. And the cost benefit ratio, I'm like, that's not worth it.
You're calculating ROI on home projects?
To a certain extent.
Oh my God.
Where I'm like, the cash out of, unlike you, Mr. Richie Rich.
No, I'm broke right now.
Where I'm like, my family wants to go on a vacation this year. And if I do this project, it's going to eat in to that budget. Right. And I'm like, it's a nice to have. Most of my stuff in my house now is sort of a nice to have, unless I have if an emergency happens, like I got to replace something that goes bonkers.
Yeah, but you replaced almost everything in this house already.
I know.
Right? So you're like, it's all good.
Yeah.
I'm still sitting in a house with like a horrible everything. Except for a bathroom, which you helped me replace, and it's probably going to have a drain that leaks.
That's
eventually.
true. That's true. You got new siding not that long ago, too,
That's
right?
true. We're good.
All right. So, what are your thoughts? Do you have any regrets about this topic? About talking about it?
I don't. This has been a fun topic, and I have a feeling it has a lot to do with me drinking 3.25 servings of pirate water.
I am at the ice. I have finished my pirate water.
Oh yeah, mine's done. We are three and a quarter servings in to pirate water.
Yeah.
All kinds of 4 stars.
Yeah, we suggest that if you're out and you see this,
a big red can with a pirate on the front that says pirate water.
Yeah, I just happened to see this within the last week.
Oh,
so I don't know if it's new. It was new to me. If you see it out there, it's a red can. I think the other one that is Sex on the Beach might have been a different red, might have been orange, but it was
a different red called orange or a different red called green. It could have been a different.
Orange and red are the same family. But I mean, you can't miss it. It's giant. It says pirate water. There's a giant skull with a pirate hat on it. So it was really good.
Yeah, no, I don't regret anything about this episode. I had fun.
Excellent.
Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, I have a blast every time we.
Awesome.
No regrets.
No regrets at all.
Thanks you.
Thanks you.
I have but one regret, that we must end here and now. But we must, so you must get lost.